everybody. Thank you for joining us today for our webcast. Southern Methodist improves response time to applicants by automating transcript processing. Today's event is hosted by Campus Technology and sponsored by Perceptive Software. My name is Kanoy Namahoy. I'm the online and custom content editor for Campus Technology and THE Journal. I will be moderating today's presentation. Our speakers today are Joe Papari and Mark Newland. Joe Papari is the Director of Enrollment Services at Southern Methodist University. He has 34 years of experience working in higher education, almost all at Southern Methodist. Joe is responsible for student systems and technology for the Division of Enrollment Services. Prior to this role, he served as Associate Registrar and Director of Records and Registration. Joe holds a Master of Science degree in Engineering from SMU and a Bachelor of Science in Computer Science from the University of Texas at Tyler. Mark Newland is an account executive with Perceptive Software. During his 5 years in this role, Mark has helped more than 100 colleges and universities explore ways to solve their business challenges. He worked with SMU to determine the best solution to improve their student transcript process. Before we get into today's discussion, I'd like to go over just a few brief housekeeping items. First, today's event will be about an hour long and we will be recording it. We will email you a link to the archived recording so you can view it again later or share it with a colleague. This is an interactive event. If you have any questions for our presenters, please feel free to use the Ask a Question area on your screen. As always, we encourage you to ask as many questions as you'd like. If we don't have time to answer the questions during this hour, our sponsor will be following up via email. If you'd like to enlarge the slides, look for the green icon in the top right corner of the slide window. Click there and that should do the trick. If you'd like a copy of today's presentation, please use the Click Here for PDF link located on your console. We encourage you to disable your pop-up blockers for the presentation to ensure that you have no trouble viewing the slides in today's web event. I'm hoping you can hear me okay, but if you need to make me louder or softer, you can adjust the volume in a number of ways, via Windows Media Player, Real Player, or the master volume control on your control panel. And finally, if you have any technical difficulties during the webinar that I haven't covered, click on Control F5 to refresh your screen. If that doesn't work, click on the Help link located below the slide window and you'll receive technical assistance. And with that, I'd like to hand it over to our first speaker. Joe, it's all yours.
Today's agenda, I'll do an introduction for SMU and our old transfer process, then new intelligent capture process, and we'll do an intelligent capture demo and then question section. I'm pleased to be participating in today's webinar, but I also want to point out that SMU does not endorse any commercial services, including intelligent capture. SMU is a private research institution. We are in Dallas and been established since 1911. Our enrollment is just under 11,000, about 6,400 undergrad and 4,600 graduate and professional students. We have, our student system is Oracle PeopleSoft 9.0. We are in a process, currently we have our HR and the student system together, but we are in the process of splitting that by June this year. We use ImageNow 6.7 and we have labeled that adminimages.smu, and the two systems are integrated. In 2013, we processed 1,019 transfer folders. We call transfer folders, these are the completed applications that they have, that we process. For that, we processed 2,285 transcripts, 21,650 courses that we reviewed. And we process the transcripts before students are admitted, and we provide them a transfer evaluation report, and we've done that in 4.3 days in average. And then the admission and counselor look at the folder and provide a decision to the student within 9.6 days, 9.3 days. Our original process, we had data capture since 2006, 2007. Data capture is template-based, and so we had to only create a limited number of templates for our institutions. We had 25 created. The data capture required a different profile to load process the transcripts. And when we did a verification, it took longer to go from one step to another. Every time we did a system update, we had to test every template, and that was very tedious and time-consuming. We also, the way we process the folders, admissions would image, scan, and index the transcripts as they come in, and a couple of 3 weeks later, once the folder was completed, they would give us, us being the registrar's office, the completed folder. We call it green folder, and we would receive that, and then we would image the transcripts again. And over the years, some of the templates were broken and unusable, so we end up putting in about 63% of our transcripts by hand. So we were pretty tired of that. We were ready to move away from data capture because of what I just mentioned. And we also project that our transfer students population will be increasing, and we have to continue to provide good service to the students and process the application even faster without adding any new resources. Intelligent capture, Perceptive provided or introduced intelligent capture to us, and we were excited about that, and once we saw a demo, we really liked it. And the most significant capabilities that we noticed was that intelligent capture can process all of our transcripts, not just the 25 that we have templates for. So that was great news for us. And we were able to implement intelligent capture in 3.5 months. We started November 1, and we're done by mid-February, and that's including the holidays as well. And it has been a smooth upgrade as well. And now we've been up about 30 days, and we're still liking it even more. And some of the highlights of the new process that we're no longer template-based, which is great. Our workflow that brings the transcript into intelligent capture now brings in all the transcripts that we receive instead of just parts of them. And we only use one capture profile for all of our transcripts. And some of them are PDFs, some are a scanned hard copy from all institutions. We just use one capture profile for that. And another nice thing that we like about this is the verifier can be used by multiple users. We have 4 staff members that they can use the verifier, and the data validation step takes the information from the transcript and goes against our student system to identify the student and identify the external organization, the institution that the transcript's from. Then we upload the transcript to our student system. We call it access.smu, and that's very nice and easily done as well. Since we're redoing our workflow, that provides us an opportunity to remove some of our inefficiencies in the old process. And now the registrar's office does not scan the transcripts anymore. That's great news. And we're happy to give admission our scanner that we're using for data capture. And this is the workflow of our process. The top layer is where the transcripts move normally, and the bottom section and it handles the exceptions. The scanning component, all of our transcripts come in either by hard copy, which are scanned, or they come in PDF, which they are, we use import agent to bring them into the system. Admission does the scanning part, and they will only move forward to the completed applications. So if the student went to attended 3 institutions and we end up with 4 transcripts, admission chooses which 3 transcripts should be forwarded. Sometimes we get 2 transcripts from the same institution. We only 3 get pushed to registrars. And this is the verifier where any field, and on the left is the verifier, the transcript is on the right, and this is where any field that the intelligent capture is not sure about or is less than 100% confident about what is scanned and what is reading, it will be highlighted, and a person needs to, when our verifier will review it and accept it or make a correction to it if needed. And the validation part, and this is the validation from the e-form, and at this, the bottom portion looks just like our PeopleSoft external organization. No, I'm sorry, the PeopleSoft screen for the student. The external organization and the student ID are extracted from our PeopleSoft system, and the academic summary, they are correspondent, they come in here. Now, we had to make a couple of customization to the e-form, but that's because we needed the level for the courses to be for 2,000 level to say sophomore, for 1,000 level to say freshman. So we wanted to do that so we don't have to do that manually. And the GPA type, we put 4.0 in there, and the system does that for us. This is the 2 customization that we did. Otherwise, we had to manually enter those for every entry. The PeopleSoft upload, it is very easy to do, and we're using SQR to do that. The way it works is once we finish a batch, we route it forward, and it extracts the data in a CSV file, and it saves it on a network drive, and then there's an SQR process that gets triggered, and that would pull the grab the CSV file, loads it into external education pages in PeopleSoft, and sends out a email verification to a distribution list that our 4 academic records counselors are member of. The process has saved us a lot of time. We've been live 30 days now. we are able to process the transcripts a lot faster. We timed it, and it's saving us about 40% right now. As staff gets more comfortable with the verifier and the validation step, we expect that this will increase to 50% of savings. It is very promising for us, and we're excited about it. And we expect that this time saving will ultimately help our students to be able to give a quicker response to our applicants. And instead of 63% manually with the old system, we're only putting in 5% of the transcript by hand, and these are the international transcripts, which the system does not handle. And as I mentioned earlier, we no longer scan, the registrar's office no longer scan transcripts, and that's a great thing for us as well. We learned a few lessons along the way as well. Intelligent Capture has its own product, and so it has its own infrastructure. You really don't get to it through ImageNow or anything else, any other product from Perceptive. And the verifier connects to the server directly, and at SMU we use best practices and have a two-tier architect set up for us. We do that for other applications as well. We call it apps.smu. That's where we get to our room scheduling and ImageNow and other things that require direct connect to the servers. And so we use verifiers in the same app server as well. We leverage that Citrix to do that. And eForm aesthetics looks a little different between ImageNow and WebNow, and we more comfortable using the WebNow, so we're doing that. And this is the diagram of our system where the documents come in ImageNow, and they are sent to Intelligent Capture, and someone goes through apps.smu to do the verification, and then the SQR loads it into PeopleSoft, and the image goes to reside in the registrar's office drawer in ImageNow. Kanoy, this is it for me. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Joe. You did a great job with that. Excellent presentation. And now, folks, it's time to hear from our next speaker. Mark, it's all yours.
All right. Thank you, Kanoy, and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Mark Newland. I'm an account rep with Perceptive Software. I'm delighted to be here with you today to talk about our Intelligent Capture for Transcripts solution. Now, before I actually provide the demo of today's meeting, I actually want to provide a brief introduction to our organization, Perceptive Software. I will then walk you through a step-by-step demonstration of how you can not only capture documents, but route them through the Intelligent Capture engine, and even verify the extracted data that we've pulled from each transcript, all before processing it or pushing it off for data upload. Perceptive Software has actually been providing enterprise content management solutions in the higher education space since 1995. Now, our global offices are based in Kansas City, but we have a number of regional offices across the country, as well as a number of other global offices throughout the world. We are the largest provider of enterprise content, business, and process management solutions in the education space, with more than 800 institutions as customers. And as recently as 2010, we were acquired by Lexmark International. Now, the last 4 years with that partnership have been absolutely amazing. We certainly are very excited with where we've come from. It's allowed us to grow our product and our brand in the education space far faster and far more efficiently than we would have been able to do had we remained an independent organization. So we're very excited with where we've come from, and we're even more excited with where we're going. Now this slide really talks about some of the efficiencies across campus. You're going to see a number of departments on here. Some of these are often overlooked, but these are areas that we've actually deployed our technology within our higher education institutions. This really does speak to its effectiveness of our product within areas that are overlooked at times. But again, I wanted to include this just to give you a snapshot of some of the departments where we have deployed our technologies and we are improving some of the processes within your or other institutions. So I'm actually going to switch gears a little bit and walk through a self-running demo. The first thing I want to do is actually start at the end and work our way back. And by that I mean I want to show you what it would look like to an end user after the document, the transcript that is, has been sent through the Brainware engine and the extraction has occurred. So we'll start at the end and then we'll work our way back towards the beginning and go from there. So what you see here is our student information system followed by our Image Now toolbar. In order to bring back a record, I simply navigate to the student's record and I select the Applications tab in our toolbar. You'll notice here that we have the transcript on the left and our transcript e-form on the right, which houses the data that we've extracted. And as I scroll down, you'll see here that we've not only extracted the student's information, but we've also extracted the institution information as well as the coursework, the letter grades, and the credits as well as other things. That's really working our way back. That's what it would look like to an end user. The reason we produce that information in the e-form is just it gives the user more of a clearer picture of what we will actually be pushing into our student information system. If there are any changes that need to be made, we certainly allow the end user to do it at that stage. And it really just gives us a better snapshot of what's going to be pushed into our student information system. So next I'm going to talk about the actual beginning stages. We're going to go ahead and capture some documents into perceptive content, and we'll process them through our intelligent capture engine, and then at the end you'll see how we've populated that information into our form before we push it off for data upload. So in this case, as I just mentioned, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to capture some documents. I'll capture probably about 6 to 8 transcripts. The first one is a college transcript with double stacked tables. We have another college transcript, this one with single stacked tables. We have a high school transcript, followed by another high school transcript. We have a military transcript, and as I scroll through this, you'll notice that there are 6 pages associated with this transcript. We have another high school transcript, followed by another college transcript. Now the reason I wanted to show you this today is it really speaks to the flexibility of the technology. If you were using a templated-based system, you would actually have to build templates for each and every transcript that I've shown you today. But in this case, with the Intelligent Capture engine, we can automatically route all of these documents through the engine and have the necessary extraction occur no matter the number of documents within the transcript, whether it's a single document or whether it's a 6-page document, no matter the layout, whether it's landscape or portrait, or no matter the number of tables, whether it's a single table transcript or a multiple table transcript, our system has the flexibility to extract all of the data off of the transcript that you need in order to make your decision. Next thing I want to talk about is the actual verifier. All right, when you see the verify, you'll notice that there are a few fields highlighted in yellow, and those are the fields that the system actually flagged. They flagged them so that we could actually put some eyes on them and make any necessary adjustments or changes. So as you can see here, I've actually scanned in a batch of transcripts, some of which you've already seen. I'll go ahead and open up the first batch, and you'll see the verifier on the left. You'll notice that at the top left, we flagged this as a high school transcript, so the system can automatically do that. And as I scroll over, we'll see here that this is not a transcript for Drew Scott like the system flagged it, but rather Nicolette Graph. So I can go into my built-in search function, I can type in graph, and I can click search. But in this case, it says that we don't have a record in our student information system for Nicolette Graph. So I'm going to log this as applicant not found, and this allows me to route this to the appropriate person in your admissions office to be able to add Nicolette's record into your student information system and go from there. But while we're here, we might as well bring over and lock in some of Nicolette's information, and we can do so by double-clicking on those data fields. You'll notice we brought over her first name, last name, and middle initial. We can even bring over the date into the verifier, lock that in, and then move on to our next transcript. In this case, this was flagged because as I scroll to the left here, you'll see that there was a stamp covering up a specific data field. So the system wasn't able to read what was behind that stamp. And as I scroll to the right, the GPA wasn't pulled because for this transcript we have an associate's degree and we have a bachelor's degree. So the system wasn't sure exactly which GPA you required in order to make your decision. So we can select that by double-clicking on that data field, and we can even make a minor adjustment to the actual credit and move forward from there. Now what you'll see here, this is our Explorer viewer, and if we go down to Nicolette Graff's line item, you'll see here that her document is actually in the add user or add student to student information system queue. The individual can open that up. You'll see that we've actually extracted all of the data from that transcript with the exception of student ID because we did not have that earlier. So we'll add her student ID, we'll add that into the e-form, and then we'll send it off for upload. Now the last thing I want to talk about today is our built-in reporting tool called Visibility. Okay. Now this is a browser-based reporting tool, and it comes with the product. I can log in with my standard credentials, and I can even customize the dashboards that I see on my homepage. Each individual could customize their dashboards to reflect what they need to see when they log in. If I actually see this bar chart to the left, I can see that 99% of the fields were extracted correctly, and I can even drill in to that bar chart. From there, I can even see the number or the type of documents that we've received, whether it's high school, college, military. I can drill into that further and even see the extraction rate or the success rate that we've seen on the extraction of these specific transcripts. I can even drill into the document types and even see the extraction per the data field, so I can even look at how successful are we at extracting specific data points within each transcript. I can even open up a transcript from this reporting tool that I have stored within our content repository. And as you can see here, it provides you a good snapshot or a clean snapshot of all of the data that you're extracting, the success rate of that extraction, so that as you move forward with your development or deployment of this technology, you can improve some of those areas. That's about it for me. Kanoy, I'll turn it back over to you.
Great. Excellent job. Appreciate that. And folks, we are now ready to dive into the Q&A session. We have a number of good questions that have been coming into the queue. So let's go ahead and get started. Hold on one second. Before we dive in, though, I'd like to quickly introduce Sheldon Lysandra. Sheldon is a senior sales engineer with Perceptive Software. He's been with the company for 8 years and will be assisting today with some of the technical questions. All right, let's get started. Joe, we're going to kick this off with a question for you. How do you deal with scanned hard copies of transcripts on security paper? This particular school has found that sometimes the scans are very difficult to read.
We scan them and we don't have any problem with them. We've been able to scan every transcript that we have seen, that we have received. We had one from Purdue, I think, yeah, one from Purdue that it has text as security. For the security, when you copy it, it has text, or when you scan it. So we were able to make a copy of that and then scan it, and that took care of it. So really, that's the only one we've had to make a copy and then a scan. Other than that, we've been able to scan every one of them without a problem.
Great, great. I'm going to ask you one more question before I move on to a different speaker. Are the organization school IDs packaged with the software, or did SMU provide that information?
And the organization and school ID, that's part of our PeopleSoft system, and we had that, and it's not part of the software. We have that internally, and we maintain that. We have had it for other purposes as well. So it was SMU's.
Okay, great. This question is for Sheldon, and Mark, if you'd like to chime in, I think that would be great. Are e-forms required for intelligent capture to work?
Hi, this is Sheldon Lysandra. E-forms are not required for intelligent capture to work, so if you would prefer to skip that whole process of dumping the OCR data into a e-form, then that's the option that's available to you.
Great, thank you. While we've still got you there, Sheldon, can you talk about the different types of upload options?
Sure, you bet. So we do have pre-built connectors for PeopleSoft and for Colleague, but if you prefer not to use those connectors, the data from the data that we're capturing is exported as XML. So we can use a few different things. We can do direct database uploads. We can create flat files for you to push in a batch. So again, there's not, we don't tie you to a specific connector. Again, if you have specific uploads that you would prefer to do, then we can do that. Okay.
Okay, great. Mark, this next one is for you. What is the average implementation time?
Yeah, great. So as SMU reported, their implementation was about 3.5 months, but of course we were going over the holiday season, so of course that slows down. We typically recommend to our customers anywhere from 3 to 5 months as far as implementation is concerned.
Okay, great. And one last one for you is this just a transcript solution?
Yeah, great question. You know, as far as the technology itself, it is not. The system itself is currently being used by a number of our customers on the finance side within accounts payable. What we showed you today is specific to transcripts, but of course the technology itself, the extraction engine itself, is capable of reading a number of other different type of document types.
Okay, good. Joe, do you scan the transcripts in color or black and white?
We scan the transcript black and white.
Okay. And another one for you, Joe, is did you have to customize any features?
Yes, we had to add 2 fields. One was the GPA, one was the course level. Otherwise, we had to do it manually. And those fields are required by our PeopleSoft system for the way we process it.
Okay. All right. Mark, I'm going to switch this back over to you for a second. Do I need to use other perceptive solutions in order to use intelligent capture for transcripts?
Yeah. At this point in time, you do not. The system itself is capable of being deployed without perceptive content associated with the project.
Okay. Sheldon, we're going to toss this next one over to you. How does this product leverage what I already know about an applicant in my student information system?
Thank you. So kind of like Joe mentioned before, the data that we're validating is against his PeopleSoft system. So we would take into consideration what SIS you're using and then set up the validation portion of the institution and the applicant against your student information system.
Terrific. Joe, this next one is coming at you. Are the transfer rules set up in your system impacted by the new process?
No, it's not impacted by the process. The transfer rules that we had in the system still works just as before because intelligent capture identifies the course prefix, the course number, and that's what is used for the equivalency once it's loaded into our PeopleSoft system.
Okay. Sheldon, another one for you. Does this require a separate server?
Thanks. It does not require a separate server. However, it is highly recommended that you do use a separate server, only because the technology does rely on there is some processing that the engine has to do that's kind of intensive, so we do recommend that you do use a separate server.
Okay. All right. And this one is also for you, Sheldon. Does Perceptive software recommend color or black and white scanning in order for this to work best?
Black and white, only because the image size for one will be much smaller, and we have, as Joe mentioned, they're doing it in black and white, but you will have a lot of success using black and white.
All righty. And Sheldon, we've got a lot of questions coming in for you. I'd like to confirm that Intelligent Capture has its own client.
It does have its own verifier, which is separate from the ImageNow Perceptive Content client. So that's one difference you might see if you're a current Perceptive customer, is that there is a separate verifier client.
Okay, great. This next one is, I'm going to toss this out to the three of you. How does the data upload into the student information system, such as Banner? Maybe Sheldon, do you want to tackle that one first, or Mark, would you like to do that?
I can do that, Mark, if that's all right.
Okay.
So with Banner, it's kind of your preference if you'd like to do direct database upload, or if you would like to do flat file upload, or even go as far as using web services. There is a product we have called Perceptive Data Transfer, which can also be used in the middle as middleware to transfer that data into Banner. So those are three options that you possibly have.
Terrific. Mark, did you have anything that you wanted to add to this? I can go to the next question.
Yeah, I think Sheldon addressed that wonderfully, so I think we're good.
Okay, great. So another one for you gentlemen. Is there an export option to send the image from this system to a school's existing imaging system?
Yes, this is Sheldon. So with Perceptive Content, we do have output capabilities, so we can export the image along with the indexing over to another system.
Okay. If a school needs a department chair to look at a transcript, are you able to convert this to a PDF?
So this is Sheldon. We can go ahead, Mark, if you'd like to answer.
I was just going to say, absolutely, we can certainly convert this to a PDF for you to send to your department chair.
Excellent. Great. Anything to add to that, Sheldon?
Nope, that's the answer I had too.
Okay, great. Terrific. Alrighty, folks. We are just about toward the end of our questions here. We had a number of great questions come in from all of you. But we're just about out of time. So I'd like to thank Joe and Mark for their informative presentations. Sheldon, thank you very, very much for helping us with the Q&A. And I'd like to thank Perceptive Software for supporting, for sponsoring today's event. I would also like to remind you again that in the next day or two, we will be emailing you a link to the archived version of this session so you can review it or pass it along to a colleague. And with that, folks, we'd like to thank you very much for attending today. This concludes our webcast.